Hey there, Chief. Small world, huh? Yep, after that gallery, I didn't think I'd be able to get a job guarding a room full of Jack Squat from the Boogity Man. But then I get a call offering me this sweet night shift slot, and I'm back in the security game. Well, enough about my lucky break. You, here to see one of the bigwigs, Chief? Would that be Sebastian LaCroix of the LaCroix Foundation, or Dwayne LaCroix of Insurrection Baby Formula Company? Okay then. Mr. LaCroix, he told me to expect someone fitting your description sometime tonight. You go right on up. Yeah, you have a good power meeting, or whatever it is you types do up there. You need any security? Well, you just ring the front desk and ask for Officer Chunk. That's me, in case you were wondering. Yeah, I get that all the time. The name goes back to my football days. Actually, my fantasy football days at the station. Stationarium. That was this office supply outlet mall I used to watch. Hey, you kids! No skating in the parking lot! That was me.
There you are. I was informed of your presence in the building. Since you're here, I'll take the liberty of assuming you've destroyed the warehouse. This is correct, yes? Most excellent. I had no doubt you'd prove my decision a prudent one. I trust you encountered no impediments to your progress on account of my personnel. A taste of what's to come. You have no idea. You've done well, circumstances being what they were. I will admit, not many in your position would have overcome such a trial. But don't misunderstand me. It was no fool's errand. You may yet prove to be a genuine asset. It's a bit disturbing, the lack of talent within this organization as of late. Tell me, what would you say to doing a bit of reconnaissance for me? Excellent. Were you by chance in the military at all? I was an officer myself, actually. In Napoleon's ranks. There have been whispers, rumors spreading around the kindred community concerning the Elizabeth Dane, the cargo ship that was towed into port recently. Have you heard of it? The Dane was found out at sea. The reports say it was without crew, but they have yet to report a fate of said crew. The police are investigating the Dane as we speak. Even the Nosferatu have little information on what's been found. However, the reason the ship has caused such speculation is because it was transporting an object called the Ankaran sarcophagus. Now, I'm not one to predicate a decision based on conjecture, so what I need is fact. And more importantly, I need evidence that the occurrences on the Dane were not supernatural in nature, and in no way relate to this Ankaran sarcophagus. You have 3 objectives. 1. I want you to examine the sarcophagus for anything unusual. You may sense something peculiar about the sarcophagus. In fact, many kindred in the city have reported an uneasiness in the air since the Dane's arrival. Do not, under any circumstances, open the Ankaran sarcophagus. Secondly, the police have begun their investigation. Find out what they have concluded thus far. Thirdly, take the cargo manifest for the ship. I want to find out what else it was carrying. The last thing we want is police aware of our existence, so be careful what you do in front of them. And unlike the warehouse, you cannot wholesale slaughter a ship full of lawmen without consequences. Is this understood? Good. Oh, and it has come to my attention that you had an encounter with Nines Rodriguez earlier. The man so does love to throw that cretinous charm of his brashly about. What exactly did Mr. Rodriguez say? Nothing they haven't crassly delivered untold times within Elysium. You have to understand, most of the Anarchs know no better option, or have been bullied into their cause by the unrulier ones. You can't fault all for the boorishness of a few. Now that that's out of the way, I trust you're prepared to leave for the Dane. I suppose I can spare a few seconds. Yes, it's common knowledge. I was born in Calais, France, over 200 years ago. When I graduated from the Royal Military Academy, I joined Napoleon's army. It was shortly after Waterloo, when I was embraced by a Belgian noble. From that time onward, I counted some of the greatest kindred in Europe as my mentors, and worked towards establishing a Camarilla presence in new territories. In 1930, I came to the Americas and staked power in New York. Soon after, I headed west to claim domain. I'm Ventrue, but I don't disparage any of the other clans. All are equally important in maintaining the foundations of the Camarilla, and the elders of each serve as my council. Yes, you've met Beckett? Yes, he did pay me the courtesy of announcing his presence in my city. He's lionized in kindred society, by most. Beckett's the definition of renowned scholar, but he's also a lone wolf, and owes allegiance only to his intellectual pursuits. Yes, Jack. The man is a scourge, the physical manifestation of chaos. Whenever he makes an appearance in one city, it is only a matter of time before a calamity is attributed to his latest lark. Yes, he's my sheriff. When there is a problem that words are wasted on, I send him. The less one sees of him, the better. Which is... In this age of information, videotape, and weapons of mass destruction, the Camarilla is more necessary than it has ever been. The alternative to thorough secrecy these days is extinction. As long as we exist, so shall kindred society. Which is... Every night you wake up, be thankful you were not sired by one of their kind, or you would have woken under the ground, forced to claw your way up from the dirt into a brief, bloody, violent existence. Savages, bloodthirsty, irresponsible heathens. Which is... All I know about the Ankaran sarcophagus is what I've heard on the news. It was found during an archaeological excavation in Turkey, and it appears ancient. There could be nothing but dust inside. However, that does not discount the possibility of it containing some kindred artifact, or even a mummy. All of these evidence of the supernatural, and therefore potentially damaging to us. As for it containing an ancient kindred, the Camarilla does not put stock in the actuality of antediluvians. They're myths. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Good. I'm counting on an encore exposition of the talent you showed earlier. Go. And remember, under no circumstances are you to open the Ankaran sarcophagus. We'll talk later. Good. There's a boat waiting for you on the beach in Santa Monica.
So I heard you and Nines had a run-in with the Sabbat, huh? And you let them go. Nines must be getting soft. How could you pass up that kind of fun? Someone must have put a word out. Now, here's an interesting little scenario. I'm just gonna run this by you, see what you think. What if the Prince got the word out to the Sabbat that you were the one to blow up their warehouse? Hey, it's just a theory, man, but who else is gonna be watching you so closely? Knowing where you're going and all that. That's how the Camarilla works, kiddo, trust me. I've been dealing with these slimy shits for a few centuries now. Why? Planning on visiting? Oh, really? The sarcophagus. Did LaCroix tell you about the Ankaran sarcophagus? Yeah, well, maybe I should fill you in on the details. That sarcophagus is bad news. Kindred around the globe have been going batshit since it was discovered. The word is there's an ancient asleep in there. One of the fathers, one of the vampires, that if you trace your lineage way back, there's a chance it'd end up with him at the roof. Ancients don't just nap. They sleep whole ages away, and when they wake up, they're hungry. It's more than that, kiddo. Most kindred think it's one of the signs of the end, the apocalypse. Every religion has their own version of it. Kindred call it Gehenna, and the way they tell it, it starts when the ancients rise to devour their children. No one knows for sure, really. That's just a word that's been handed down through the ages. The Camarilla denies these ancients exist. Well, kiddo, I guess you're gonna be the one to find out. Hey, good luck. Try not to wake Grandpa Munster and kill the world, huh?
My man, what is up?
It's a nice night out, huh? Need a ride? Lovely evening.
Sweet girl you sent up made the other one seem like sour milk. Real bleeder, lovely thing. Least, she used to be. But she'll live on in your heart, won't she? Need a bag of her? No, 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 no. Queen bitch would say no to that. No, 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 no. Queen bitch would say no to that. No, 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 no. Queen bitch would say no to that. Yes.
Hey, what can I say? You preserved my ass. I truly appreciate you not saying anything, and I want you to know I take care of those who do me favors. So from now on, you need equipment, info, you come see me at my apartment. Don't hesitate. I just wanted to make sure you knew my appreciation. And like I said before, someone needs something, I can get it. This boat, for example. I tell you, that blood you guys got's an amazing thing. Helped close up a few wounds. This back alley patch fixed up the rest. I needed that beating. Good reminder not to overestimate my ability. Last time it's gonna happen.
Hi. Yeah.
Yo, Pally, over here.
Ah, for Christ's sakes. Tell Jacobson if he plans on making editor-in-chief, he's got to start working with me. I can't keep getting him these scoops if he's gonna send high school journalists who don't know enough to wear something that would blend in. Jeez, what kind of Woodstein don't think to at least show dressed up like an investigator, a Coast Guard guy, something? I mean, didn't you ever see Fletch? What, are they just handing out those diplomas nowadays? Alright, look. I got you a copy of the initial report, and I can get you into the cabin, but you gotta make yourself real scarce after that. Anybody catches you, I don't know you. And no goddamn flash photography, brainchild. Hold up a sec. Hines to Marsh. Hines to Marsh. Marsh, they need you up in the bridge. Over. There. The security room will be clear. Head down the stairs behind you and stay low. When you get down there, wait for me to call off the guy guarding gangway A. As soon as he leaves, get your ass moving, and don't let him see you. I'll give you a couple of minutes, but don't dilly-dally. In and out, okay? Don't forget to stay out of sight. If anyone sees you, you're on your own. Take the stairs up to the security room. There'll be a computer in there. The password is Lighthouse. Lighthouse. All one word. You getting all this? Now get a move on. And don't forget to tell Jacobson I get double my usual fee for this one. Hines to Jacobson, Anderson. Hines to Anderson. Come in, Anderson. Come check this out. I just saw a baleen whale. Yeah?
that crab nibble! Listen to that crab nibble! Hold that crab nibble!
Anything I can do for you tonight? Concerning? Specifically? What you want is a Spaz 15. I got a connection for those, but I haven't seen him in a while. Think he's in Mexico. As soon as he gets back, I'll have a few of them. Putting together a Dragon's Breath, too. Sawed-off. Spits WP rounds. Few nights' work. Specifically? Not easy, even in this country. Military-grade sniper rifle with 50 caliber ammo can take a man apart at quite a distance. Makes the Secret Service nervous. I can, however, get my hands on a SWAT rifle. Give me some time. Specifically? Oh, yeah, I got a lot of requests for those. I blame the movies. Everybody thinks they're a riot till they set their friends on fire. They're not very easy to get hold of. I got a Vegas connection for those. Last time I was out there, I had to shoot my way to the state line. Specifically? Only a lunatic would want that kind of ordnance. That's why they got him in Washington.
Hop in.
Hey! I know this might seem creepy and all, but please don't blow me off, okay? Someone told me I could find you here. I mean, I've been looking all over for you since that night. Because I just wanted to... I'm in your debt. I want to help you. I owe you my life, and I feel like I need to repay you. I almost forgot. I'm Heather. Heather Poe. I'm not weirding you out or anything, am I? Only because of you. What you did for me. Here, I got you this. I thought you might be able to use it. I can be useful to you. I'd do anything. Just tell me you'll let me help you. Let me stay with you. Make me feel this way. Really? I promise you won't regret it. Promise! I'll get you money, I'll get you things, everything. I want to be... important to you. I know where you live. I checked there first. I'll wait for you at your place. And when you do come back, I'll take care of whatever you want. I'd do anything for you.
My man, what is up?
So what'd you find out? No kidding. Well, I guess there's gotta be something in there then, huh? The Camarilla's gonna be scraping for answers when this gets out. It's in the air, all right. I've been around longer than most, kid. And I've felt the change in the past few decades. It's in the blood. We're racing towards something. And picking up speed all the time. You've seen the evidence with your own eyes. You're caught up in all of this. So, other than that, what else is new? Where you headed now? You do what you gotta do.
2 minutes, newbie. All the time I've got to spare right now. Came to California to get out of the Dust Bowl during the 30s. Been fighting this fight since the 40s when we kicked out the can. I was new to it all back then. Not a whole lot of people from those nights still around. And some of them are. They're just not anarchs anymore. That's a stupid question. Freedom doesn't come cheap. At any time, you gotta be ready to defend it. A lot of blood's been shed for what we have. Alright, this might help you out. I use guns, but most vamps get up close and personal. In that case, thing to do is to let them come in for the attack first, and dodge it or take it in the gut. Then use your blade to deliver the death blow. Time's up. Come around in a few nights if you're still alive. Maybe I'll have time to kill, but I doubt it.
Evening, Chief. You back to see Mr. LaCroix again? Yeah, he told me to send you up as soon as you came in. Lots of people here to see Mr. LaCroix. Nice guy. He seems a little different, though. I wonder if he's... that's his business. You know, I'm keeping the undesirables out and the innocent safe and secure. I'm the thin blue line that separates the crazies from the hard-working decent folks. Yep, as long as I'm around, Mr. LaCroix's got nothing to worry about.
I've said all I need to, for now. I don't have time for a monologue. Give me the bullet points of what you saw. And the Ankaran sarcophagus. What did you see? Opened? Let's not jump to conclusions. Give me the manifest in your notes. I'll sort this mess later. You might have noticed when you came in, the parade of malingering mollycoddles filing out. Those were the Primogen, this city's clan elders. A worrisome bunch devoted first and foremost to the security of their own skin. Which is why they were here. It seems Alistair Grout, the Malkavian Primogen, has either forgotten how to answer his phone, or is missing. Each minor problem like a grain of sand. Each night I inherit the desert. The Sabbat's appearance has put the Primogen on edge. Grout's mansion is in the Hollywood Hills. I need you to pry Grout out of whatever crack he's crawled into, and have him contact us. Yes, for the moment. You know, your demeanor thus far bears similar characteristics to those that rise to the top of this organization. Stay that course. Yes, about Grout. As I said, Grout is the Malkavian primogen. His behavior and home are eccentric, to say the least. He's developed a paranoid bent lately, so you may have to check under every bed in the place for him. I suppose I can spare a few seconds. Yes, they are the representatives of their clans, though more often than not they represent their own best interests. They stay close to power, but are too fearful of the consequences to wield it. Nonetheless, I seek their counsel on occasion. Which is... when we hear from Grout, you may come back. Until then.
Hey there, kiddo. What's up? Where you headed now? So a Malk's gone AWOL. Well, if that caught LaCroix off guard, I don't know how he's dodged 100 years of sunrises. Buck up, kiddo. I told you, man. You do what you gotta do. You were born into this whole mess with an ounce of fame. That's usually gonna work against you. Every time LaCroix sees you, he thinks back to that courtroom where Nines made a fool out of him. A lot of kids are due. Well, I bet he's gonna hold you up one day as an example of what the Camarilla can do for the wayward and lowly. It's a bunch of crap, but hey, good for you. Play the game, kiddo. Just keep your eyes open. Hear me? You can help everyone that way.
Going somewhere?
You. What are you doing here? Out now. You should get out of here. This place is bad news. Pardon me.
It is quite peculiar, the happenings I've been made to witness for my supernatural longevity. I am thinking of one unfortunate phenomenon in particular, of unique interest to my station, both as a professional and as a sufferer of this vampiric condition. It seems the stream of time has begun to erode the moorings of my chosen course of study, for the methodologies that gave birth to psychology are slowly disappearing. I find myself in an era that overlooks the physical component of psychological pathology time and again in favor of the sophistic practices of Freud. Phrenology, dactopintilism, and the rest of the old guard has fallen by the wayside, its champions all silenced in death, with my unique exception. Would that I could make my voice heard again, although it may be suspicious should I return to popular medical discourse 50 years after my apparent death. No, better that I continue my studies into the psychoses in secret. One day, may I hold up my own cure as validation of the methods. I am confident no cure for my condition, or that of my beloved wife, lies within our figurative minds, waiting to be unlocked by the correct combination of memories recovered from our childhoods. And I'm most certain it has nothing to do with the relationship between myself, my parents, and my genitals. Sorry, Sigmund, but I choose to stay my course. In time, too, may your star fade and disappear. Another unfortunate casualty to tide of time, insane asylums. I lament their loss not only as brokerage houses for the breadth and depth of human psychoses, but also I shall mourn the disappearance of that peculiar environment present only in an insane asylum. That palpable atmosphere of blistered brains and churning bowels, the odoriferous melange of freely flowing bodily humors, that gently rolling cacophony of distant sobs and screams, the muttered cursing at perceived enemies, and the blissful gurgling of the lobotomized, like a newborn babe discovering the sky. I shall still find test subjects as surely as I find bloody sustenance in the night, but this climate, I fear, may never be replicated. Often I reflect with great regret on the missed opportunity that was my infector. Had I been conscious after the attack, I could have stopped the orderlies from locking her in the roaming pen. What I would give for just one interview, a few simple questions of the plague-ridden woman who met her end that dawn. Of course, there is no guarantee she would have been any more helpful than my current crop of test subjects, mewling wretches. Few could be called enthusiastic. Given the nature of the tests, I cannot expect the same fervor from all, but a modicum of cooperation would be appreciated. Animals. The one called John went so far as to gnaw off his arm and escape into the floorboards like some feral rodent. I still hear him scurrying about at night. He must be making an atrocious mess. My studies proceed at a languid pace. I'm mired in a foul ennui as my wife's illness advances. My subjects grow restless without proper supervision, but I cannot pull myself back from this black depression. How many nights I've wasted now, gazing from the tower walk, pondering the frailty of existence. After decades of solitary study into this affliction, I have learned that it is by no means mine alone. Indeed, the city is home to an entire society of similarly afflicted individuals with whom I've only recently made contact. They are an understandably standoffish sort, by and large, but I have been able to confirm with them that the condition is indeed vampirism, which apparently comes in a multitude of strains, each with a spectacular set of symptoms such as invisibility and even a sort of lycanthropy. Through numerous official interactions with the governing body of this secret society, I have concluded that their fundamental understanding of the vampiric condition is woefully lacking and mired in suspicion and pseudo-religious dogma that would make a Turk balk for its strictures. Indeed, they seemed impressed with my studies and the eloquence with which I was able to present them. Apparently, the typical sufferer of my particular strain of vampirism is far from the vanguard of the King's English. So impressed were they that they even offered me an office in their government, a rather high office by the sound of things. I believe I shall accept. If nothing else, it should provide a lofty vantage point from which to observe the breadth and epidemiology of the affliction, so that I may move more expeditiously toward a cure. I have accepted the role of Kuei-jin for Clan Malkavian, the dreadfully winsome label applied to the particular strain of vampirism I suffer, so named for some supposed vampire father figure of old, more poppycock grown from a backward culture that seems interminably drawn to children's tales and the fiction of Victorian romance, when it should concern itself with the science behind their suffering. No matter. For I have taken this office for no greater reason than to advance my research. I must make mention, however, that even among my would-be peers in this governing body of vampires, the level of paranoia and superstition is frightening. Their intelligence is not the question, no, indeed. As they courted me for this appointment, I had to suspect that their overtures were hand-tailored to what must be my obvious infatuation with reason, for the devil would do well to have such honey-tongued tempters. Even so, I could not help but notice the dressing of language these vampire leaders chose for their siren song. Whether it is born of habit, from addressing their unwashed, ill-educated subjects, or from their own deep-seated beliefs, their linguistic flourishes belie a faith in superstition over the providence of empirical reason that must be an all-pervasive theme in this society of darkest night. Damn it all, now I'm doing it too. As I expand my dealings with the vampire government, I have encountered a disturbing new symptom of this affliction. Frequently, in conversation, I will hear voices emanating from other vampires, voices that are not their own, but which seem to have insight into their lives beyond what I could gather from simple conversation. These voices seem to echo from deep within my fellow vampires, and I cannot be certain if this symptom belongs to my strain of the illness or theirs, for the voices are various and inconsistent. I dare not mention this symptom to my vampiric peers, for they have proven themselves true predators to whom I could be loath to reveal any sign of weakness. Indeed, these voices have counseled me against confessing their presence, and until I can confirm their source, I will listen. The information the voices have given me ranges from curious to frightening. The latter case is especially true of one powerful vampire whose name I shall not commit to recording in the interests of self-preservation. The voices have increased in frequency and direction of late. They have begun to stay with me long after conversation has ceased and are serving as quite a distraction. I fear others are beginning to notice my preoccupation at the vampire gatherings. I am thinking again of the particular vampire of whom I spoke previously, who I dare not name for my growing fear. If the voices are to be believed, then my caution is warranted, for they speak of his blackest crimes, both past and future. More than once I have seen the suspicion in his eyes and heard the distrust in his voice when speaking with me. The fear must register on my face, as it is all I can do in these moments to keep from crying out in chorus with the voices. I am no longer safe. I know it. The voices have proven themselves authentic, and I have withdrawn from the Vampire Society entirely. My absence will no doubt draw attention, but I could no longer hold my fragile composure around the ravenous eyes of my vampire peers, especially not around him. The voices compelled me to make what I fear is a Faustian bargain, but I had to, for their demands are constant and merciless. I have secluded myself within the mansion. I know he will strike out at me. He will go to any length to achieve his ambitions, and he knows it, I know. I have taken precautions to protect my beloved wife. Her cure will have to wait until our immediate safety is guaranteed. The mansion was constructed with security in mind, but at that time I was not privy to the full range of vampire capabilities. The voices echo in the twisted corridors of my psyche, dark whisperings of a macabre and formless menace, the approach of which portends an end to all of this.
Count is dead? Pity it could not be by my hand. No matter. Soon your self-made kings and false prophets and all who bear the mark of the beast will be washed from the earth for the coming of the Lord. As you burn, tell them it was Grünfeld Bach who sent your damned soul to that lake of fire. All agents of Satan shall return to whence they came. Let this righteous display serve as a promise to all who serve the archfiend Lacroix. I'm coming for you, Lacroix. By the power of the Lord, I will cleanse your black soul.
Evening there. Something burning? Ooh, smells like someone burnt the burgers. Sure, I'll open her up for you. Jeez, I could go for one of them double-spaced burgers. Onions, cheese, bacon, guacamole.
The Primogens still haven't been contacted by Grout. I thought I made it clear that you were not supposed to come back until we had heard from him. Grout's dead? What? Bach! Every time I think he's lost the scent. So, Bach killed Grout to draw me out. Bach is a hunter. They stalk and kill our kind to appease their god. But like many mortals, their so-called faith is nothing but a conduit through which they quench their killing urge. Who else would have killed Grout? Look at me. Are you sure it was Nines Rodriguez? Because if it was, the consequences... Do you know where this might lead? Do you really have any idea? It means... Under most circumstances, I would call a blood hunt on the murderer immediately. However, the anarchs of this city may interpret such an action to be a declaration of war. I do not want a war with them. This decision will take some time. I need to confer with the Primogen on this. In the meantime, I've come to a decision on the Ankaran sarcophagus, and I believe that for the safety of the inhabitants of this city, we need to place the sarcophagus under Camarilla protection until its contents can be confirmed. You're becoming quite indispensable to me. So, out of all my available personnel, I'm going to entrust the retrieval of the sarcophagus to you. It was quietly delivered to the Museum of Natural History a few hours ago. The manifest from the Dane shows there was a small box from the same dig on board, but it was listed as missing. Keep an eye open for it. It may have been overlooked. It's crucial we get the sarcophagus in our possession within the next few hours. Yes, of course. Here. I can't have one of my representatives running around ill-equipped for their task. Here are the keys to the front door of the museum. The sarcophagus should be in an examination room of some sort. There's a small security staff on site, but I don't want a massacre. Mortals are just as easy to deceive as they are to kill. One or two, but that's all. My history with that family dates back to Bach's grandfather, who pursued me into Africa, where I killed him. Bach's father tracked me to London to meet his death. And now Bach and the Society of Leopold have followed me across America. They never learn. Witch hunters, an anachronistic holdover from the Middle Ages. They are inquisitors, whose fanaticism has convinced them that their triumph over the supernatural will save mankind and secure them a cushy spot in heaven. A blood hunt is a death sentence. When one commits a high crime against our society, a blood hunt may be called. It is then the responsibility of the city's kindred to bring the offender final death. There is a degree of immediacy attached to this task. Work fast. And, as on the Dane, you are not to open the Ankaran sarcophagus for any reason. Excuse me.
My man, what is up? big fuck. You got a lot of nerve showing up here, Lick. You fingered Nines. Said he killed a goddamn primogen. I'm willing to believe you were a patsy in all this, but I'll be watching you, kid. Don't expect to see him until this bullshit is resolved.
Listen, kid, you did what you had to do. Just a messenger, right? Don't worry about Skelter. He's like all these big barking pups nowadays. They don't bite unless they get cornered. I hear Nine's got word. I'd wager he's gonna be laying low for a while. It's a ruse by LaCroix so you can call the blood hunt on Nines. Standard smear job, textbook candy bullshit. Yeah, sure, but there's packs of youngsters out there who'd love to make a name by bringing in the head of Nines Rodriguez. You're just eager to please, ain't you? I could give a goddamn, kid, but I'm sure the boys here would appreciate it if you kept your business as usual. You hear me?
I don't want to talk to you. Move!
Money, right? Been a while. Your money's been piling up. Here, that should provide for an interesting evening.
It's a nice night out, huh?
Where to?
Lovely evening. Went downtown to get my fix. When I went up to the top of the tower, I could hear LaCroix shouting from down the hall. Seems pretty disturbed about the sarcophagus business. Glad I'm not wrapped up in it. Anything I can do for you tonight? Anything I can do for you tonight?
Finally, you're back. I thought maybe something happened to you. I shouldn't even think such a thing. I mean, if you disappeared, how could I go on? But you're here now. I'm so glad when you're near me. This feeling. It's love. Oh, all I can feel is love for you. I almost forgot. I got a college loan check today. Here, I want you to take some of the money. I'd rather you kept it. I think I'm gonna drop out of school. You know, so I can watch over you during the day or run errands for you. It's the least I can do to earn my keep. I'll try to get more, you know, when I can. Anything for you.
I told you, I will get to you when I can. Please take a seat. Get out of here. Can't you see I'm with a patient? Are you trying to blackmail me? You don't know who my wife is. She wouldn't believe you. Now get out. Wait now. What do you want? Deal. But I'm in the middle of something. I'll have to drop it off later. Now never speak to me about that again.
Need a ride?
I can't understand why someone would go through the trouble of stealing a box with a very ancient corpse. This city's not that dull. I'm an archaeologist, so I thought I'd indulge in a quick study of this Ankharan sarcophagus everyone's so riled up about. My guess, from what I've read about it, is that it's a mummified Mesopotamian king. I needed confirmation. Oh, I really wish I had. All this speculation about the sarcophagus containing an antediluvian and being a portent of Gehenna is making me cringe. These are the kinds of ridiculous, superstitious assumptions I came here to debunk. Armageddon, doomsday, the end of all kindred. It's a common facet of most mythologies. Fear that the world will end. Many believe Cain and the antediluvians will return to consume or destroy all kindred. I wholeheartedly disagree. No one I know has ever met one, but each of the clans and their bloodlines supposedly trace their origin to an original vampire, an antediluvian. Some swear these grandsires still exist into the present, but then kindred and kind believe a lot of strange things. Cain is the biblical first kindred and founder of the mythological first city, Enoch, a place where kindred and kind coexisted. I believe Cain's a figure concocted to personify the transition from nomadic society to agrarian society. That myth, like most, has been twisted by time. Thin bloods rarely exhibit features or powers of their clan, and many can't embrace. Some are even rumored to have reproduced. Many kindred are terrified that their weak blood heralds the dissipation of every bloodline. Somewhat of an ignorant reactionary response, don't you think? As I said, many cultures have the fear of some form of apocalypse. Kindred believed in these stories when they were human, and naturally carried them over into kindred myth. But it doesn't take a supernatural act to cause widespread destruction. Humans and kindred are just as capable of managing their own destruction as a deity. A self-realized Gehenna warrants more vigilance than a god-induced one, don't you agree? Such is my argument. which so frequently falls on deaf ears. What prophecy doesn't have vague apocryphal signs? Let's see. The usual ones cited are the appearance of thin bloods, Cain sightings, doom, gloom, that route. For 300 years I've been trying to determine the function of our existence, the kindred's role in the world. I'm not content to attribute it to some act of supernatural biblical vengeance. We exist for a reason, and if it takes another 300, I'll figure it out. Any thoughts? Yes, I've heard that theory before. It certainly seems plausible, but there's little proof to support it. Still, it's a better explanation than a divine sentence for manslaughter. My sentiments exactly, but there's time to rectify that. Well, my work here is stolen away into the night. Think I'll do the same.
It's a nice night out, huh? Anything I can do for you tonight?
Oh, you're back. I went out this evening and I met someone and he wouldn't leave me alone, so he came back here with me and, well, I thought you might want to drink his blood. In the bathroom. I locked him in. Did I mess up?
Hey, what the hell is this shit? Let me out, goddammit! I'll kill that crazy bitch! Psycho bitch brought me here, hit me in the head, and locked me up. What the fuck? I mean, who the fuck does that? Oh, so she's gonna play it like that, huh? Alright, just let me out. I want to get as far away from that crazy bitch as possible.
Master? I'm really, really sorry. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Master?
hop in.
Oh, excuse me, starting to doze off there. Oh, I need to get a guard animal of some sort to alert me when folks come in. Maybe one of them chimps like on that show Ape Detective? Oh, that monkey always gets his man. What? Oh, yeah, Mr. LaCroix's expecting you. For a young guy, he sure likes to work late. Me, I spent most of my youth in the entertainment industry. Yeah, I guarded the sets for over 6 top 10 TV shows.
The folly of leadership is knowing that no matter what you do, behind your back there's hundreds, certain that their own solution is the sounder one, and that your decision was the byproduct of a whimsical dart toss. I pronounce the blast sentence, and I soak the critical fallout. I make the decisions no one else will. Leadership. I wear the albatross and a bullseye. I've had my fill of sycophants. I need adjutants I can trust. The blood hunt on Nines Rodriguez for the murder of Alistair Grout will be called. Rodriguez's execution is only a matter of time. I have lit the fuse. If a war ignites, it's my head they will sharpen the pikes for. At least I can rest easy in knowing that you, my most promising attendant, has relieved me of one encumbrance tonight. Do you need assistance bringing the sarcophagus up to my office? Stolen? Stolen? How? Who would... Oh, Gary. Gary, you treasonous maggot. I should have anticipated your treachery, sewer rat. The Nosferatu Primogen. The Nosferatu were responsible for finding out where the sarcophagus was taken after the Dane, and for getting keys to the museum. They were the only ones who knew. It's obvious to me now. My mistake. I want him found. I want him... found. The sarcophagus could be... exploited, causing who knows what catastrophe to this city. If it were to fall into the wrong hands... The Nosferatu lurk in the filth below the streets of Hollywood, but not even I know just where they hide. Hollywood is, unfortunately, lacking in any Camarilla loyalties. Hollywood's baron is an anarch named Isaac. Isaac's more civil than the anarchs downtown, but nonetheless he wears his mistrust of me on his sleeve. He may know how to contact the Nosferatu. Find Gary and get him to talk. That sarcophagus could be used against us. Do not come back until you have it. Now, I must announce the blood hunt, and bear the brunt of all consequences. Escort him out.
I heard you were down poking around the museum. Kid, you don't live to be as old as me without cultivating a few connections. the least of which should be able to penetrate the iron veil of the local Natural History Museum. Damsel told me. LaCroix wants that coffin bad. Seems like he has a lot riding on that sarcophagus to get such a fierce bug in that powdered wig of his. I got another scenario for you here, kiddo. Gonna bounce it off you, see what you think. You ever hear of, diablerie? Well, it's when a vampire drains another more powerful vampire to death. Diablerie is the Sabbat's specialty, but it's a big taboo in civilized kindred circles, and damn sure forbidden by the Camarilla. When a younger vampire diablerizes an elder, the younger vampire gains all of their powers. The prince is willing to tear LA apart to find this thing so he can have it. Why? What would a power-hungry vampire like LaCroix want with a sleeping ancient? I wonder. You gotta figure a drop of ancient blood would make any kindred just about invulnerable. Anyone who has a sarcophagus is gonna be thinking the same thing. If LaCroix gets a sarcophagus, at least we know where it is. Besides, getting the sarcophagus and getting into it are two different things.
Ugh, candy. Yeah? I think you better go. No one wants to talk about this right now. What did you just say?
Yes. Yes, this is genuine and of use to me. There is something resonating from it. A whisper. I will give you this in trade. It is known as the Odious Chalice. It swells with spilled blood and offers its bloat to its owner. Yes. Death is the ultimate dilemma, and integral to the beliefs and behavior of every culture. Life is bore on the corpses of the dead. Without death, there would be no motivation to accomplish anything. The only emotion would be existing. Life would be pestilent and agonizing. Yes. If it satisfies you, I make an effort to only prey on the weak and worthless, consuming their flesh not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. I wither and rot without it. It is my survival. Yes.
Going somewhere? the hops, bro.
Picked up a Spaz 15 this morning. Cleaned, oiled, and just waiting to put a hole through something. You interested?
It's you. Earlier tonight, you weren't following me, were you? I had this feeling like I was being watched. Maybe it's nothing, but I'm still a little shook up. Want you dead? Why? How could anyone think of harming someone so extraordinary? I will.
Where to?